define it as well as he should have, or he didn't make his point as well as he should have. I understand in part what he's saying. The idea of being Christian is to see the good in everyone, even in the most evil of people, like Hitler, or someone like that, where even though they are pure evil, we do believe that it is a choice, and every day that person has to be given that choice whether to do good or to do evil. And I mean, I can't speak for the Pope, but I believe what he was trying to say is that we need to be open to the idea that someday ISIS will change its heart, change its mind, change its ideology. I mean, you and I know that they never will. But being the Pope, he can't, or he wouldn't ever make that kind of finalizing decision on a group or entity, unfortunately. And in this case, you and I could probably agree that this was one of those things where if that was what he felt, then maybe he shouldn't talk about ISIS. Like, that's the answer. If you want to believe that there is good in ISIS and it is a possibility and therefore we should keep an open mind, okay. But being that ISIS is a political thing and not, he shouldn't have said anything about ISIS. He should have left that to the politics that's going on right now. It was a poor choice of words, but I do understand in part, like I said, what he's trying to say in terms of seeing the good inside of all people and being hopeful and believing that that is the case. Everyone is born with sin and with good and evil, and you have to decide every day which road you're going to take. Are you going to be evil or are you going to be good? And unfortunately, ISIS, every day they wake up and they decide to be evil. Will they, or could they one day wake up and decide to be good? Who are we to say they can't or they won't? I mean, I can't say that, but based on how they have been behaving since they've been historically in existence, I don't see that happening. But as a pope, he would believe that it is possible. That's how that's my defending the Pope and his words.
I maybe it's just that I was not raised in that kind of church. I was raised in the Baptist church, which is way more fire and brimstone.
Yeah.
Than the Catholic Church, based on what you're saying here. But there was a lot more emphasis put in my church onto the idea that there is a point at which you no longer, like, maybe God will give you another chance, maybe, if you beg for forgiveness, but we're not really so big on the whole let's not judge people thing. We do a lot of judging in the Baptist church.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, with the Catholics, I mean, maybe it wasn't as, we have Pope John Paul was very strident in his opposition to the socialists, to the Soviet Union. He was very, he came out and he was saying this is wrong. So my problem is that Pope Francis never really seems to take a stand. He says, oh, let's leave a door open. He never actually calls these people out for what they are, which is evil.
And which is why this Pope and our president get along so well.
Exactly. Let me see. We had, when John Paul was Pope, we had Reagan, and they got along really well because they were both capable of saying, this is wrong, maybe God will give you another chance, but I can't give you another chance because this is not something I can do. And, there's a lot of stuff in the Bible about how God will always forgive you. But at the same time, there's also stories of, Jesus killing the fig tree because it didn't bear good fruit, or him whipping the money changers out of the temple, where it shows that he was not all that tolerant towards people who were willfully bad. It wasn't just like they didn't understand that what they were doing was bad and they just needed to change their ways. It was people and things that were doing things intentionally evil and continuing to do them against all, no matter how many warnings they got. He said, no, we have to go after these people. And I think maybe there's just not enough of that being preached anymore. That, maybe God will give you a second chance, but we can't just continue to give you one chance after another and expect you to do something different. That's the definition of insanity.
I guess at the end of this, the answer, unfortunately, is Pope Francis needs to not be so vocal, but unfortunately he is, and it's he's in a very precarious position, and he is in a position of power because he is the Pope of, one of the largest denominations in the world. So the proof will be at the end of the day just how much of an impact of change he will make, because even though he is talking about distribution of wealth and he's talking about ISIS and things like that, fortunately I have noticed that nothing that he has said has actually caused anyone to change their position and or policies. He's gone to the UN to discuss distribution of wealth. He's been very vocal, probably because he's hoping someone will listen to him and actually do what he's saying, but no one really has. So maybe, again, this will be the case where they'll just chalk it up to the Pope being a Pope and not really taking him seriously, which is probably going to at the end of the day be a bad thing, because you do want to take the Pope seriously, but do you want him to build up to take an office like the Pope and destroy it the way our president is destroying the seat of the presidency and making it into a farce? Right. Is this Pope going to make the seat of being a Pope into a farce in the time with which he's a Pope? I hope not, because that would be a shame.
It would be a shame. I mean, that is a position from which you can do so much good, but if you choose to, you can also, become a laughing stock and do lots of bad things. And I think basically what it comes down to is anyone with half a brain is saying, please let him be a lame duck Pope, is basically, just ride it out until we get another one. But, I don't know how that's going to work.
My mom has said he should have food tasters, because she can see him being one of the most recent popes who will be eliminated, because that has been historically done.
Apparently there has been a lot of death threats towards him by ISIS and other groups, and he's been refusing extra security. And I'm not sure what exactly he's expecting here, but it'll be interesting to see what happens.
It will be. And, okay, so bringing it back home, there was another bit of, I guess, big news, but not really, because who really pays attention to the seats that kind of are in rotation during this presidency? But Secretary Chuck Hagel, who was the Secretary of Defense, has stepped down. And some are saying he was forced to step down. Some are saying it was his decision to do so, that he, from the beginning, before he even accepted the position of being the Secretary of Defense, that he said he would only do it for 2 years, and here is his 2 years, so now he's stepping down. I don't know. I'm tending to lean towards the fact that the president forced him to step down simply because Secretary Chuck Hagel, once he stepped into this position, quickly realized that removing the troops so quickly and not putting enough money into our defense was actually not such a good idea and was not going to work in our favor. And so he was butting heads with the president, who basically did not want our military out there and did not want to secure our safety the way it needed to be secured. And because of that difference of opinion, he was forced to resign.
Right. I don't think Hagel was as complacent as this administration thought he was going to be.
Yeah.
And that's kind of a surprise to me, because I was expecting anybody chosen by this president, they're going to be a pushover.
Right.
That's why I really didn't have much, respect for the guy. And, but instead, he actually stood up to him on a few issues, and oh boy, Obama did not like that. So I'm betting that this is, the statements he's making about how he only planned to do it for 2 years, blah, 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 is undoubtedly just an attempt for him to for everyone to save face in the situation.
Right.
But they're definitely...
And of course, as is the way of this president, the person who I don't think he officially appointed anyone yet, but the person that they've been looking at happens to be, if I'm not mistaken, a Hispanic female. And it's like, seriously.
It's all at some point, all the time.
At some point, I'm waiting for like a Native American to come out in a headdress and be the next, Secretary of State. Like, what is his problem? Honestly. And this woman, I'm sorry, I don't care that she's a female and Hispanic. Is she capable of the job? I'm tired of someone who's going to be the Secretary of Defense not having some sort of military background. A little bit, just a smidge.
A little experience, tiny bit. I mean, come on.
To me, that's common sense wrapped up. How do you become the Secretary of Defense, of defending the nation, and you don't know about military tactics or, positions, ammunition? I don't even know. Like, that's just common sense stuff. And I don't care that this woman, again, is a female and Hispanic. What is her military background? What are her qualifications? I mean, what the hell was Chuck Hagel's qualifications? But anyway, what are her qualifications besides the fact that she's going to fill some quota of being a female and Hispanic?
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I don't really know if they've named a specific person. I know that there's been a few names floated around, so I don't know exactly who they're going to pick.
Well, he's got a lot of offices to fill because he has the office of Holder. He hasn't filled that one. And now he's got Secretary of Defense. He keeps this up, and his last 2 years as a lame duck president will be with no cabinet. Like, if I was him, I'd say screw it. I'm not even going to fill any of the seats because y'all just going to keep making these people resign, and I'm just going to have to keep firing them. It's just going to be me, myself, and I. I am
it would just
ruler.
Be
I am the king. I am the king of the White House. I am not nominating anyone.
Like, you don't think he already thinks that?
Exactly. So I'm just let it be him and Valerie Jarrett in his office. Have fun.
I could make a joke about just him and Valerie Jarrett in his office, but I'm going to keep my mouth shut.
Please. I just ate my dinner. Let's not. Ugh. That already gave me a little. No,
I
please.
Just ate a whole plate of Christmas cookies, so that's probably a bad idea.
Exactly. Especially not if we're about to discuss Clinton. I mean, we're going to go from Jarrett to the president to Bill Clinton. Please.
I know, but it was so perfect that you make this comment about him and Valerie Jarrett alone in his office, Oval Office, Bill Clinton. I don't know.
Have you seen Valerie Jarrett lately? I mean, she's not exactly. Well, she makes Nancy Pelosi look good. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I'm just wondering how many of our listeners, like if they're younger than us, don't even have any the reference, that might not understand the reference to sex in the Oval Office. I don't know. That'd be weird, right? If people I grew up with that. How do you not know that?
That's so true. That's weird that there might be a generation out there that doesn't know about it. That just shows you how old you are when you realize there's a generation that doesn't know.
They won't understand the jokes about defining, How do you define that word? I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Anyway.
That's becoming quickly an inside joke. Go ahead.
It's weird. I don't get it. Even my sister doesn't get it all the time, which is weird. Apparently last week, a video or a selfie was released by somebody on Reddit. It was taken last year at some point. But last week, a friend of the person who took the selfie released it onto the internet, and it's just all over the place, and it's a picture of a woman named, Ariel Avdali, who lives in Los Angeles, who is taking a selfie with President Clinton, who did not know that she was taking a selfie with him, and caught him staring right down her shirt into her very developed, front area. It's very attractive.
we can say boobs, breasts.
Yay, boobs.
Or whatever. We're women. We can say it.
They're very nice. I would probably have been staring at them too, but it's Clinton, so it makes it funny.
Well, I love in the article under it that they show you that classic picture of Hillary Clinton staring at Christina Aguilera's boobs.
I know, right?
They
this whole family.
You know what? They clearly, that's what they have in common.